Hey guys, David here. In this video, I'm going to show you how I use Claude Code to generate thousands of highly personalized emails that actually land you sales calls. After this video, you're going to know how to spin up an outbound campaign in minutes using Claude Code, but you're also going to learn how to write copy that gets you those deals. So I'm going to share the framework that I use for my agency, the framework that I use for my clients, and this is the same framework that I use that it's unlocked over $250,000 in revenue. Whether you're an entrepreneur going from 0 to 1 to land your first client, or you're a business owner looking to streamline your outbound efforts, this video is for you. Let's get into it. So the first thing we're going to do is we're going to talk about 3 different emails that are a no-no. This is no bueno. If you're running cold email right now and you're not getting any replies and your emails look like this, you're about to find out why. So these are actual emails that I'm not gonna say where I got them, but these are actual cold emails. So let's start with the first one. Ty. Hey, first name, insert icebreaker. I help niche companies consistently land qualified sales calls without ads. I've worked with Telstra, $50 billion company, and Akonya, $11 billion company. And last month booked 11 meetings for a company about your size, all through outbound. TLDR, I'll build you a system that runs while you sleep, books meetings, follows up, gets replies. If we don't hit 5 meetings in 30 days, you don't owe me a cent. With a quick 20-minute chat, just reply yes, and I'll send over a Zoom link, how's tomorrow at 4 or the following day at 2. Cheers, Ty. Send from my iPhone. Wow. So a couple things. This icebreaker, we don't know what it is, but what I can tell you is it's likely something very generic, like love what X company is doing, or saw your post on LinkedIn, loved it, or I'm digging insert service that this company does. That's not even an icebreaker at this point these days. That's more of like a big indicator that this is a cold email. So you're prefacing your entire cold email saying, hey, this is spam, this is an ad, and it's just a lie. It's a flat out lie because AI is obviously generating this icebreaker and I wouldn't recommend it at all. So no icebreakers. Further, if we don't hit 5 meetings in 30 days, you don't owe me a cent. So this is a strong risk reversal. And me personally, I don't think it works that well. And I'll tell you why. As soon as you give somebody a risk reversal, you're devaluing your experience and your case study. You're introducing doubt into their mind. And at that point, you're including this risk reversal. So now, what if we don't get it? So I could just feel secure that I won't have to pay you? Why even bother? Why not just pay somebody and actually get the result? So I'm going to say that this is not a good thing. If you have to put in a risk reversal, I wouldn't recommend it. You also don't get paid. You get the experience, which is priceless for you, but I'm going to show you a tip that's going to help you generate copies to where you don't have to include the doubt or introduce the doubt into the recipient's mind, even if you don't have case studies. So send from my iPhone. Guys, we all know send from my iPhone that's not flying anymore. So I'm going to knock the point off there. Overall, this email sounds very generic, very template-like, and the authority might not resonate. Also, the risk reversal, wouldn't recommend it. I give it a 2 out of 7. I'll be honest, 2 out of 7. All right, so the next one, email 2, Brett's email. Classic spray and pray. It's a hard CTA with 0 proof. So let's read it. Subject line, Milena, can I? Hey Milena, respect how you run sensational smiles. Thought I'd run something by you. I have been implementing conversational AI phone agents that reduce you or your team's time on the phone by 50% for around $6. They connect to calendars, verify insurance, and follow up all on their own. Would you be available tomorrow at 3:30 p.m. Eastern or Thursday at 2:30 p.m. Eastern? If so, I will send a calendar invite. Thanks for considering, Brett. Okay. All right. Overall, I'm just going to tell you right now, standard spray and pray. That first line can be applied to anybody. You're just going to replace the company name. Once again, it's an indicator. This is an ad. This is spam. This is cold email. The one thing that I will say that this email has going for it is that they understand the audience fit. The audience fit. It doesn't matter if it's a large dental company or a small dental company. Every dental company needs what they're offering. So there need not be additional qualification. So if he had better case studies, that would resonate regardless if it was a big one, a large one, small one, or medium-sized one. But he doesn't have a case study. Without any sort of proof to back it, like a previous client, it's not really landing so well. Also, the subject line, not a fan of it. It's not valuable or relevant to the email whatsoever. And the icebreaker is simply just, empty flattery. Now, I will say that this is a strong claim, but it would be stronger if there was some sort of testimonial that was attached to it. And then I'd never recommend using this sort of CTA. You're just blocking your time. Like you're telling the prospect, these are the only available times. I don't understand why you would do that. you're already interrupting their day. You're already, going into their inbox with spam. The last thing you want to do is say, hey, these are the only times I have available. I feel like this is a attempt at trying to increase your value, but I just don't think it's a good play. Don't recommend this one at all. Overall, this is standard spray and pray template, similar to the last one, 2 out of 7. Okay, last one. Sai, boosting pipeline without adding SDR salaries. Hey, Paulo, running Stark data in Lisbon stood out. Tiny thought on delivery. When I speak with SaaS founders, I hear the same challenge. They need more pipeline, not more SDR salaries. That's where I help. I set up AI systems that find the right people, handle outreach, and book qualified calls directly on the calendar. It's like adding 2 to 3 reps without increasing payroll. For example, one SaaS startup I worked with booked 29 demos in their first month. Would you be open to a quick 15-minute chat over Google Meet? I can send a link if you're interested. Best Sai. This is the best one out of all 3. Reason being is because the subject line is respecting their time. You're telling them exactly what's going to be inside the email. Number 2, the case study is there. It would be stronger if they included the company name, and there's no risk reversal. There's no introduction of doubt whatsoever. It's very confident. Highly recommend this structure, but it still falls flat, and I'll tell you why. The intro doesn't mean anything. There's also nothing to take away from this other than this person can potentially get more sales calls without hiring an SDR. So unless the pain is prevalent, I only see somebody replying to this if they're actively hiring for an SDR or actively looking to scale. This isn't cold traffic ready to the point where you introduce this email, someone gets this email, and they're going to consider it without even having this sort of intention already. So anyway, overall, 3.5 out of 7. The strongest points here is definitely the proof, and the CTA is also good. CTA matches the authority level, letting them know, hey, I'll send a Google invite link. You just let me know some times that are good for you. Also, good job on the subject line. Speaks directly to the pain, lets them know what this is about. So this is definitely the best one, but still, it is not up to par. And that's where I'm going to introduce this framework to you guys. So I will tell you one thing. This framework that I'm going to share with you is not one size fits all. Okay. So just in case, if I didn't mention it already, we also have a cheat sheet, a worksheet that I'm going to include in the description below so you can draft your own cold emails. Because it's not one size fits all. It's not. If you have authority, you're going to take that route. If you don't have authority, you're going to have to work a little bit harder, right? If you have case studies, same thing. If the data is readily available, some signals that we can scrape for, that's another thing to consider. So let's talk about phase 1. Does everyone in your audience benefit? Let's take my initial offer, my outbound agency. I started as an outbound agency. Now I offer custom AI projects, but we still do outbound. That's definitely my highest, my most popular offer. So can I do outbound for every single B2B company? I can't, because every single B2B company, the audience has to be large enough, right? The total addressable market, if you will. The ticket size needs to be large enough for my time, and the data needs to be available. So those 3 things need to align in order for outbound to work. So I can't just filter for B2B companies on a data aggregator and then just spam them, because I'm going to burn my inboxes, and half of them probably won't even be qualified, right? But now let me give you another example. One of my clients, they're an RV SaaS company. They provide data for RV dealerships. It's a software, and their software quite literally is beneficial to any single RV dealership. There is no ifs, ands, or buts about it. There's no additional qualification that needs to happen. Their offer fits the entire audience. So what does that tell you? They understand the pain point very well. So that means that they need not do additional discovery. They can just speak to them. And if they have that authority in that case study, this copy is going to land. So that's the first thing. Understanding your audience doesn't match with everybody. That's going to tell you whether you need to go for more volume or you need to go for more quality, surfacing more data points, surfacing more variables. The next thing is, do you have authority or case studies? Yes, you do. Obviously, you want to lead with them closer to the top of the email. If you don't, you need to demonstrate value. Now imagine if you do have case studies and you also demonstrate value. That's how you actually get a reply, right? You're interrupting them, but you're saying, hey, I'm interrupting you, but here's this value that I'm serving up to you. By the way, I've done this. I do this. Clean. All right, number 3, how will you prove capability? This ties into the value. So if you have authority, you can mention that, your experience for one, your case studies, that sort of thing. If you're providing value, then you're going to show them that value in the email. When I do outbound, I provide 2 timely signals specific to the recipient that an SDR can take action on immediately. So I provide them timely signals, conferences, job postings, regulations that's currently happening or is about to happen. I provide that in the copy and I say, hey, by the way, didn't know if you knew this was going on, but this is a great way for you to get more clients, by the way. In the first email, it's literally in the first line for my own outbound campaign. And that's how I land these clients, because you're interrupting them. So you have to think about how you're going to provide value. I stack that with case studies and it's chef kiss. Another thing is pain, almost forgot. So mirror their language. Going back to my client, they know the ins and outs of the RV dealership business. They can speak directly to them. There must be a pressing pain point that every single person in this business has, and they solve it. So those are the things that you want to include in your copy. You want to address, whether it's providing value, your authority, or pain, showing that you understand the pain. And then the last one is a CTA/lead magnet. If you have authority, if you have product market fit, offer them an asset, offer them a custom loom. That's only going to lower their guard even more. Never really go straight into the call unless the lead magnet can work against you. For example, my own offer, I do a slight nudge to the call, because any sort of lead magnet that I have, my offer is so generic. My offer is not unique. It's B2B lead gen. What's different that I can present in a loom that any other B2B lead gen company can't do? Yeah, sure. My process might be a bit more in depth, but overall, people just care about results. Where once again, if you go back to my client, nobody else has their product. There's nobody else doing what this person is doing. And so, yeah, make a loom, make an asset, make a one pager, because the whole thing is unique. For B2B lead gen, I would not recommend it. I always go for the soft nudge for the call. So I hope you guys are following along here, right? So the last one is design your approach. You're going to take all these things, and that's going to allow you to create your email. So all these things you need to take into consideration, because it's not a one size fits all. So why don't we jump right into the demos? All right, guys, opening up Claude Code here. I'm going to start with my own agency first. So here we have SaaS companies. I've hidden their emails. So we have a bunch of SaaS companies. These are the things that you would get if you just scraped Apollo. So this is a fresh Apollo scrape. I'm targeting SaaS companies, B2B SaaS companies. Now, I also have to do additional enrichments, right? This is the kind of enrichment that I do using Claude Code. I do an additional phase of enrichment. I understand if they're a B2B company. I get data on their business model. I get data on if they're an end user or a vendor. And then I understand the vertical. So I run a command inside Claude Code that runs 5 agents in parallel to surface this data. Once I understand that they're qualified, I scrub the emails to ensure they're valid. So we're going to talk about the copy in the email. So you might be wondering, how did I come up with these headers? So I drafted up somewhat of a template that I wanted the first touch to be. And then I went backwards in figuring out how I'm going to surface those data points at scale. So I'm going to show you some examples. It says, hey, first name, or subject line, first sales at company. Hey, name, over 38,000 RV dealership general manager jobs posted this week, showing a hiring spike for budget controlling roles. Good way for your company to spot dealers expanding leadership teams. Do you have a way to catch these things when they happen, or are you finding out after the fact? Asking because we handle this sort of things for our customers. For context, we help Safari 360 add $250,000 in pipeline in 90 days. If I may ask, how are you finding new customers right now? Curious how RV dealership SaaS companies are growing pipeline. Now, let me ask you guys, does this feel templated? A little bit. I'll give it to you a little bit because we're pitching something, but I'm leading with value that's highly personalized. I'm giving them some sort of tip that they could use today. They can use that. It's actionable. Not only that, I'm including my authority here. The subject line is relevant to what I'm about to talk to them for. I close out with the question. I just ask them a question. It's not even a call to action. Why is it not a call to action? Because I don't think that enough rapport has been built yet. I'm just piquing their interest just so I can get a reply. As soon as you get that reply, now let's try to take it to that call. Now let's try to take it to that lead magnet, to that asset. This is the same exact email that got me this deal. Here's the second touch. Hey, first name, realize that I never followed up. Last note from me. Sent you that RV dealership hiring spike tip earlier. Here's one more. The Progressive NCRVDA Charlotte Fall RV Show is on next quarter with lots of dealership owners and sales leaders in one spot. Could be a good chance to meet decision makers. Curious, what does your current GDM look like? We handle this sort of thing for clients like Mavari, Cosmic, booking qualified calls on autopilot. Is it worth a 10-minute conversation? Bam. does this feel templated to you? No, it doesn't, because I'm giving them another data point that they can use. And I'm also dropping some authority here. And then I'm nudging for the call. Like I said, you have to know what your product is. If it's general, making another loom isn't going to make you really stick out that much unless you really have that personality or the results. It's really the results. If your product is unique, absolutely go for the lead magnets, 100%. Or if you could provide some value for free, go ahead and do that. That's the number one thing you want to do. So with all that being said, how did I even get here? What are the data points that I needed to figure out? Well, we got to figure out this point right here, value. So I have to understand what this prospect is offering and who it is that they're targeting. So I have to understand what their product is first, who their audience is, what their go-to-market looks like, and I have to understand their product. I have to understand all those things. I also have to understand or find out a timely, relevant signal that's actionable for them, because that's going to allow me to surface this data. So with all that being said, that's how we ended up with these variables right here. Their audience, their go-to-market, a descriptor that we use in the email. We use this descriptor right over here. Strategy 1, strategy 2, and then we take all these logs and then we generate the copy. So now I'm going to show you how I do it live. I also have another video that shows you how to set up your 2-layer architecture with Claude Code. It's the lead scraping video. I'll include it inside the description. And this is how fast I'm going to generate the copy. Go ahead and go to our lead spreadsheet, the SaaS_founders tab, and begin the surfacing script for the ICP for rows where stage equals qualified and email validity equals valid or valid risky. Perfect. So now Claude is launching the skill. We already have this sort of thing configured for my use case. I'm going to show you how this is tailored for me, and then I'm going to show you how I tailor ones for my clients. You have to figure out what it is that you're going to say in your message first. Then you're going to figure out what variables you want to surface, and you configure this all with Claude Code. And so you guys just saw, after I told Claude, it's taking the inputs of the data that we have from the scrape, which is typically just a company name, company domain, maybe a LinkedIn, and then we're surfacing their audience, their go-to-market, and then a descriptor. Once we have these variables, the next step is to surface a strategy. So I just tell Claude this, hey, go ahead and run the surfacing script for the strategies on rows that are researched. So in natural language, I just tell Claude to run that next phase. It's executing it right now. Why don't we take a look at the progress here of what's going on? We have the ICP, we have the descriptor. Now let's take a look at these strategies so you guys can see. You can see we have regulatory deadlines. We even have some data set that this specific company could use. We have job postings, and then we also have a summit conference that could be relevant to this person. So these are all the signals, and they're super specific to the recipient. Beautiful. So once we have these variables surfaced, now what we're going to do is generate the copy. So let me go back inside to Claude Code. Go ahead and execute the copywriting script for rows where stage equals signaled. Simple natural language. You can even configure a command for this if you wanted to. You just add it to the skill, and then it's a slash command. So it's launching the copywriting script. And if it wasn't clear enough already, let me just go back to the examples that I use. These were the things that we surfaced for the copy that landed me that deal. So we have that audience or ICP, their go-to-market, a descriptor, because we're going to use that in the copy, and then a strategy 1, and then strategy 2. So, all right, so taking a look at the results, once it's generated the copy, you can see that we have our subject line. It's relevant to what we are including in the body. We have our first touch. So the first touch, always giving them that value, that tip. In this case, there's an RFP. And while that is generic, I also have my script log the verifiable trigger just in case the prospect asks for more information on the specific tip that I'm providing them. So we have links here, we have dates here. Let's take a look at one more. So you can see we're mentioning a MSP Summit Conference in Las Vegas that's relevant to this company for whatever reason, but it's because of the research that we've done that I'm able to pull this data up, right? So that's how we're generating this super personalized copy. Now, I want to show you another example. This example is specific to a client of mine. this is what we figured out. And in our first 2 hours, we already got a positive reply and actually a meeting booked using this strategy. So like I said, it's the RV SaaS company, right? They know who their audience is. We don't need to do additional qualification other than knowing that they're an RV dealership, right? Is the person that is selling this product or offer, do they have authority? Yes, they do. They have extensive experience in the RV space. They know exactly what it is that these RV dealerships are dealing with, and they have credibility. So that adds to how we're going to structure this copy. Now, how can we prove capability? Well, Justin, the point of contact, already knows how to speak their language, but how can we reel them in? We're going to use their own copy against them. So the only data point that we're surfacing in this case is going to be the copy that ties into the product, which in this case, it's appraisals and estimates. So this is exactly what we do. We're going to go into their sheet, same exact thing, the data from the data aggregators, but then we do additional qualification, do the email validity scrub. Now these surfacers look extremely different because we're looking to grab copy from the website, extract a specific phrase, and then we're going to use that in the opener of our copy. So now we're not generating an entire custom paragraph, but we're going to be generating a phrase that we're going to map into a template. So let me open up a new terminal and you guys are going to see this happening in real time. Hey, proceed to surface the scrape and surface the variables for all rows where stage equals demo in the campaign retry tab. All right, natural language. I'm telling Claude Code, hey, this is what we've set up. This is what you're going to do. So now we're going to allow Claude Code to explore the client configuration. Can you tell me what the scrape is doing so I can summarize it for my viewers? So the scrape just generated the first batch here. And so you can see we have the HTML, right? If there's a phrase available, it's extracted it. If the phrase isn't strong, we go to a fallback, right? And then this LLM that is extracting the phrase is also normalizing the company name. So I even went ahead and asked Claude Code what it is that we're doing. So I can just clarify this for you guys if it isn't obvious. So because I know what the copy is going to look like, this allows me to work backwards and surface the data points I need to generate that copy. And what I came up with for this client in particular is we are ensuring that we scrape each dealer's website, extract any links containing trade-in words like trade, value, appraisal, sell. We visit up to 5 of those pages, and then we pull from each page. We extract a phrase with GPT-4o Mini, and then we send all of that data to an LLM and ask, what's the dealer's trade-in value proposition in 3 to 10 words? If it's compelling, we log it. If it's weak, then we have a fallback. If there's no trade-in messaging at all, then we just revert to our standard templated copy. So with that being said, you can see it's generating all these. So now the next step is the opener. And I'm going to just say, can you go ahead and proceed with generating the opener for the next 10 rows that need it? I hope you guys can see the value in this. And you can see once you configure Claude Code to your use case, you can execute this at scale, right? And in my case, I have different client folders. Each client has their ICP. And now I just use natural language to run this process. And I iterate on it in perpetuity. So this is how we execute and get highly personalized cold emails using Claude Code, just using natural language. Once again, if you are a operator looking to land your first client from 0 to 1, just go ahead and click the link below. I have all my resources that are included in this video and it's completely free. Or if you're a business looking to implement a system like this or something similar for your business, just click the link below to my agency's site and then you can book a call with me directly. So going back to the sheet here, if I go over here, you can see this is the compelling one. We're literally telling them, hey, we saw your site mentions we buy RVs. How's your team actually landing all those numbers? That's just a perfect example. If it's a weak or a fallback one, let me show you what we do. So if it's a fallback, we just use this generic phrasing. If it's weak, we don't pull the phrase from their website. We just say, hey, saw your site mentions trade-ins. If it's weak. So if it's weak, saw your site mentions trade-ins, right? So now we have all these variables populated. We have the opener. If you go back to my campaign, we have the subject line in the first touch. How do we put it in our sequencer? What do we do next? I'm gonna show you guys. So what you're gonna do is you're gonna go to File, go to Download, right? And then once you've downloaded your CSV, You can also use Claude Code to upload it via an API. I just prefer to do it manually. Once I get a whole batch running and I check that it's done, I just download the CSV. I go inside instantly. So you're going to want to go inside the campaign that you're working with. I'm going to add a new campaign, or actually I'm going to duplicate one. This allows me to just use the copy that's already inside. So you guys are going to see it live. I'm going to take it, drop it in here, and then you just want to match everything accordingly. So we have their first name, last name, email, title, company name, website, LinkedIn if it's important. And then we want to get down to our custom variables and we want to map them as custom variables. So I'm going to scroll all the way down here. We have our opener. That's the most important. And then we don't address their company name, but I'm just going to map it anyway. Same thing with the phrase, not a big deal. And then I'm going to just hit upload. Contacts have been uploaded. So you can see we have the first name, the opener, and this is what our copy looks like, guys. We're going based off who their ICP is. They can just press on the pain point because they know it like the back of their hand. Is the sender someone of authority with credentials? Yes. So we're mentioning that. And we open it up with that opener that's highly personalized. So let me just show you guys a preview. Perfect. So Bill, hey Bill, saw your site mentions get a quote on your trade-in. How's your team actually landing on those numbers, right? And then what are we doing for subject line? It's easy, guys. Trade in question. Why? Because it's an actual question. It's relevant to the copy. It's not, hey Bill, may I? It's relevant. So that's what we're doing here. And it's the same exact thing for my campaign. You're just going to map the variables. Instead of having a template, you just map the first touch, second touch, so on and so forth. So I hope you guys find this valuable. I'm going to include this cheat sheet here for you guys so that you actually have a way to put together this copy. If you just follow along, this is going to allow you to draft up copy that gives you an idea of what data points you need to surface. And if you're a business looking to implement this, but you might not have the time, just book a call with me below. If you're an entrepreneur looking to get these resources for free, link is in the bio. I hope you guys find this valuable, and I'll see you in the next one. Peace.